Welcome to this session. Directors, I think you'll find this really changes things. We're going to fundamentally shift how you approach casting. Forget everything you thought you knew about just, finding talent. We're here today to unlock the real, formidable power of the actor. This session is really a direct pathway into understanding Ivana Chubbuck Technique, specifically how its principles apply right there in the audition room. That critical space goes way beyond just finding someone who can, deliver lines well. It's about discerning emotional strategy. It's about revealing substance, that core truth. And ultimately, it's about hunting for warriors, true warriors. Today, you'll learn how to spot those actors, the ones who have this inherent ability to transform their own personal pain into potent power. Actors who relentlessly pursue an objective, who refuse to simply perform, but instead, they actually fight to win. Audition, when you look at it through this lens, it becomes a crucible. It's designed not just to observe, but to actively expose how an actor truly thinks, how they feel, how they fight, and importantly, how they adapt under pressure. The goal is never, ever simply finding the most polished performer. That's a huge misconception, actually. It leads you straight to actors who just show emotions, rather than those who compellingly use them. We're looking for those rarer individuals, the ones who can take a raw cry, a moment of pain, and literally weaponize it, turn it into a strategic tool to get exactly what their character desperately needs. So what does all this mean for you, the director, in that crucial moment? The actor walks into your room. What now? It means you are not just sitting back observing, You are orchestrating a profound, active diagnostic process.
Yes. And what's truly foundational here, the thing you have to grasp first, is the premise of the audition itself. It is not a stage for simple display. It's not a showcase. It's a battlefield. You are not seeking a superficial polish, some kind of aesthetic refinement. You are seeking warriors. The audition, when it's structured correctly, it must be designed to peel back the layers, to reveal the raw fight, the undeniable hunger, and the profound, unvarnished truth within that actor. It should function as a crucible, a severe test that lays bare how an actor truly thinks under pressure, how they feel deeply, how fiercely they fight for what they want, and critically, how deftly they adapt when they hit resistance. We are not looking for style in the conventional sense. That's something superficial, easily imitated. Instead, our aim, our entire focus is revealing profound substance. We are not seeking out who can cry on cue. That's a common parlor trick, isn't it? Anyone can shed tears. But it means nothing. It accomplishes nothing if it's not put to purpose. No, we are looking for the artist who possesses the instinct, the skill to weaponize that cry, to turn it into a strategic tool to achieve something desperately vital for their character. This is about emotional strategy, a calculated, deliberate use of feeling, not emotional ornamentation. That's just pretty ultimately ineffective display. The essence of this powerful approach is transformation. Transformation that happens through objective-driven behavior. Your entire audition process, every single element, must be meticulously designed to reveal an actor's inner fight. That core, undeniable instinct to win. This rigorous methodology, it cuts through all the artifice, all the pretense. It exposes the very core of an actor's capabilities. It shows you precisely what dynamic force they will bring to your set and ultimately to your story.
Okay, that sets the stage powerfully. So this brings us to a crucial first step, one that's often underestimated, you said, but it's foundational. Your first diagnostic tool, your first weapon, really, in this hunt for these warriors, is the material itself, the scene.
Precisely. Absolutely foundational. Directors, you must immediately abandon the comfortable stuff. Those overly polished monologues, the generic scenes where actors just demonstrate they can hit an emotional note or, cry on cue. This is a common pitfall. It's seductive because it feels safe, predictable. But it will lead you astray. You'll end up with performers, not fighters.
So what's the alternative? What kind of scenes should we be choosing?
You must select scenes that are inherently high stakes. Scenes deeply rooted in a strong, clear, specific objective. An objective that demands relentless pursuit. Not mere presentation, but actual doing. You want moments where something absolutely essential hangs in the balance, where the character has everything to lose or everything to gain.
Can you give some examples? What does that look like?
Sure. Consider a scene where a character's lifelong love is teetering on the brink. It's about to be lost forever, and they have to fight right now to save it. Or maybe a moment where respect, something they've always been denied, must finally definitively be seized. Now or never. Perhaps it's a situation where power has to be claimed, a birthright fought for, or maybe freedom that feels tantalizingly out of reach must be grasped with every fiber of their being. You want moments where the character is compelled, forced to take emotionally risky action that exposes their vulnerability and their tenacity, not just display a feeling.
So it's about the stakes driving the action.
Exactly. Look for roles where the character is fighting for survival in some profound form, emotional, spiritual, psychological, even physical survival. Scenes loaded with escalating conflict, undeniable resistance, complex relationship dynamics. These are paramount because these elements, they aren't just plot points, they are forces. They compel actors into making dynamic, active behavioral choices. You want to force them to coax, maybe to beg, to subtly seduce or overtly threaten, to cunningly manipulate, compel them to do something complex, you see, to employ intricate, evolving tactics to get something vitally important.
And that's how you separate the performers from the warriors.
That's precisely how you separate them, this careful, deliberate choice of material. It instantly reveals whether an actor has truly internalized the character's purpose. They don't just know the lines, they own the battle. They embody the character's fight because the material itself demands it. Relentlessly. This isn't about finding technically perfect delivery. It's about finding an actor who understands the absolute imperative of winning.
Okay, that's crystal clear. Choose material that forces a fight. So you've selected that perfect scene, brimming with potential. Now the actor's actually in the room. You mentioned there's a vital step before they even say a word. How do you immediately connect them fiercely and personally to the heart of that scene right from the start? How do you cut through that audition nervousness, that facade?
Right. You must pause. Resist that impulse we all have to just rush into the scene. Okay, whenever you're ready. No, you must connect them fiercely, personally, to the very core of the scene's stakes before they begin. Ask probing, direct questions. Questions like, who is this person in the scene to you in your own life? Who do they remind you of? Someone you have a deep, complex, maybe difficult relationship with? Or, try this. When have you wanted something this badly, so desperately that it consumed you? What did that feel like, truly?
And you're not looking for a performance answer here?
Absolutely not. Understand this, directors. You are not testing their performance at this stage. You are not looking for a clever, rehearsed answer. You are probing for their raw, authentic vulnerability, their willingness to expose a piece of themselves right there under pressure. You're observing, watching closely. Do they instinctively reach for those critical tools that connect them personally? Specifically, substitution and inner objects. Do they bring someone real, someone personally significant into the room with them to stand in for the character's relationship? Can they anchor the huge stakes of the scene, the love, the loss, the power, the survival? Can they anchor that in their own personal truth, even under the intense pressure of an audition?
So it's not about getting the right answer.
There is no single right answer. In fact, focusing on a right answer misses the point entirely. What truly matters is their unhesitating willingness to really go there. Emotionally, psychologically. If they flinch, if you see them hold back, if a wall visibly goes up, they might not be ready. Not ready for the raw depth your story demands. Or maybe they're just not the right fit for this kind of rigorous truth-seeking work. But if they lean in, if their eyes focus with this intensity that just seems to pull the air from the room, if their breath shifts, becomes deeper, more resonant, suddenly it transcends being just a scene. It becomes survival. You will feel that shift, that palpable weight of true personal consequence.
Wow. That's the actor you want.
That, directors, is the actor you want inhabiting your story. This rigorous personal test ensures their choices flow not from mere recitation, not from some intellectual idea of the character, but from a deep, profound, and personal understanding of why the character needs what they need. It's their deepest truth fueling the character's deepest truth.
That's a crucial distinction, isn't it? Testing their truth, not just their performance. Which leads to something fascinating you mentioned. How do you recognize an actor who is already operating from this deep instinctual place, even if they've never formally studied this technique? What are the telltale signs, the organic Chubbuck work, as you put it,
Yes, and what's truly fascinating here, and often incredibly inspiring for me to see, is that even if an actor has never formally studied Ivana Chubbuck technique, you will recognize these core principles at play organically. You'll witness behavior that unmistakably reveals personal stakes and profound emotional strategy. It's like they have an innate compass pointing them toward truth, a natural understanding of how to fight. So look for these undeniable indicators first. They personalize relationships and stakes without you prompting them. They naturally, almost unconsciously, map the character's emotional dynamics onto their own life. That's intuitive substitution. You will feel that they've brought someone vital, someone truly significant from their own lived experience into the room to embody the character's relationship, the way they look at the reader, maybe a subtle tremor in their voice when speaking of loss. It will carry the indelible fingerprints of a real personal connection, not just acting sad.
Okay, so that's the first sign. Personalization without prompting. What else?
Second, their emotionally driven choices evolve in real time based on resistance. So with each new obstacle, each bit of rejection or conflict they encounter from the reader, it doesn't shut them down. It fuels a new tactic, a new way in. Their performance breathes with continuous dynamic adaptation. It's not static, not a pre-planned delivery. They are actively engaged in problem solving right in front of you.
Constantly adjusting their strategy.
Constantly. Third, their energy is fueled by deep need, not by demonstration. This is crucial. You will feel a palpable pulse of hunger, an undeniable urgency, true emotional stakes radiating from them. It's not a theatrical display designed to impress you. You'll perceive this compelling, almost desperate drive behind their actions, a profound, unyielding need to get something absolutely essential. You feel their need.
That makes sense. It's internal drive, not external show.
Precisely. Fourthly, and this one is subtle but incredibly powerful, you will perceive a palpable inner monologue beneath their words. Thoughts will seem to be forming just below the surface, actively shaping their delivery. Every line is powered by a strong psychological engine, not just recited from memory. You'll see their mind working, calculating, reacting, grappling, even in moments of silence. The wheels are turning.
Okay, and the last one.
And finally, their performance escalates in response to conflict or rejection. Pain does not shut them down. On the contrary, it intensifies their pursuit. It makes them fight harder. It pushes them to pivot, find another way in when they're pushed against a wall. They don't crumble into emotional paralysis. They become more resourceful, more determined. They find another weapon.
So those are the key indicators.
Those are the unmistakable indicators of an actor who is already embodying these powerful principles, even without formal study. Their behavior unmistakably reveals emotional strategy, deep personal stakes, and an instinctual understanding of how to do something with what they feel. When you spot this, your role is not to correct it. Don't try to teach them the lexicon. Your role is to fuel it. Acknowledge that profound instinct, that raw truth, that inherent drive. And then with your direction, push them even further into their objective. These actors are already on the path. Your job, your sacred job really, is simply to sharpen their innate abilities and unleash their full potential.
That's a really empowering way to look at directing in the audition room, fueling what's already there. So this inherent drive, this natural inclination to do something with emotion rather than just display it. It brings us to another critical distinction. And this raises an important question. How do you, as a director, avoid getting sidetracked by just raw emotional display? How do you keep your focus lasered in on what truly matters? Because like you said, it's easy to be captivated by tears, but that might be exactly what you're not looking for.
Yes, this is a critical distinction, directors, and it demands your unwavering focus, your discipline. Do not, under any circumstances, allow yourself to be seduced by mere emotional display. Anyone can cry. Anyone can shout or collapse in a heap of apparent despair. That means absolutely nothing if they are not doing something with that emotion. If it's not serving a strategic purpose, it's an empty vessel, a performance for its own sake, pointless. Instead, you must focus your unwavering attention like a hawk circling its prey on how the actor uses that emotion, uses it as a strategic tool to achieve their objective.
Okay, so the how is key. How are they using it?
Exactly. Are they wielding their pain to manipulate the other character into giving them what they want? Are they using their sadness to charm, perhaps? To guilt trip? To subtly seduce? Or maybe to overtly overpower the other character? Or is it simply a performance of sadness or anger, static, directionless, just feeling sorry for themselves? Watch for the objective. Always watch for the objective. Are their choices demonstrating a clear understanding of the obstacles in their way, the resistance they face from the other character, or the circumstances of the scene? And crucially, are they fluidly shifting their beats and actions? Are they navigating around that resistance?
So you're looking for adaptability in the face of obstacles.
Yes. When they hit a wall in the scene, when their first tactic is thwarted, do they pivot? Do they find another way in? Or do they simply crumble under the pressure, repeating the same ineffective emotional pitch? Are they adapting moment to moment, truly living in the present circumstances of the scene, allowing the shifts to inform their behavior? Or are they locked into some rehearsed emotional trajectory that stays static no matter what's thrown at them? The most compelling actors do not simply perform pain, they weaponize it. They do not stop when it hurts or when they face rejection. They double down, they dig deeper, and they find another, more potent way in. That is the kind of unrelenting fight you are watching for. That is precisely where true transformation lives, where the character comes alive with authentic struggle and profound purpose.
The difference between an ornament and a tool, as you said earlier.
Precisely. An actor who is truly fluid doesn't just display emotion, they strategically use it. One is decorative, the other is functional, purposeful, powerful.
That's such a powerful framework. Emotion as a tool. Which brings us to guiding the actor in the room, giving notes. You've observed them, maybe given an initial direction. But how do you give a note that truly pushes an actor towards that urgency and risk we're talking about, rather than just a mechanical adjustment that doesn't really change anything deep down? How do you elicit true transformation right there in the moment?
Right. If you need to give one always, without exception, do so through a Chubbuck lens. This means your note must sharpen the objective. It must raise the stakes, and it must demand a deeper, more personal truth from the actor. Forget technical notes like say it faster or be sadder. Those are superficial. They rarely lead to transformation. Instead, say something like, what if you played this entire moment to seduce instead of merely intimidate? How would that shift your whole strategy? Or try this. Try fighting for their forgiveness like your entire life depends on it. What would you do right now in this room if this was the only shot you had to fix something profoundly broken in your real life? Something you regret deeply.
So you're giving them a new tactic, rooted in personal stakes.
Exactly. You are not giving notes to simply clean up a performance or fix a line reading. You are igniting new, potent tactics, compelling them to make a new, more truthful, more effective choice rooted in deep personal need. Then you observe, with utmost scrutiny, how does the actor absorb and integrate this adjustment? Do they make the change mechanically, just mimicking your suggestion without any real internalization, like a puppet? Or do they truly integrate it? Does it resonate deep within them, shifting their internal landscape?
Does their emotion genuinely shift, or is it just a surface change?
Precisely. Does their emotional landscape genuinely shift to reflect the new tactic? Or is it just a superficial overlay, a thin veil over the same old performance? Do they stay grounded in their objective? Do they maintain that core pursuit? Or do they lose connection, maybe get anxious trying to be right, or just please you? And crucially, do they use the redirect to deepen the stakes, to raise the urgency, to expose even more vulnerability, even more of their personal truth?
So you're testing their adaptability under pressure.
Directors, you are not testing their compliance. You are testing their adaptability, their resilience, their courage. Can they recalibrate under pressure? Can they stay profoundly connected to the core of the scene? And can they transform in that immediate moment toward a bolder, more human, more powerful choice? This approach instantly reveals if the actor has internalized purpose beyond just memorizing lines. It tests their emotional fluidity, their creative agility. It shows if they can handle direction without tightening up, without becoming rigid, or just faking the change to get by.
And it tells you how they might function on set.
Critically, it gives you invaluable insight into how they will truly function on set. Under the relentless pressure of time, changing circumstances, emotional fatigue, all of it. It decisively separates those who merely play a result, those just aiming for a specific emotion, from those who genuinely live in the process, allowing the character's truth to unfold organically and authentically. This willingness to pivot, to risk, to truly transform, it reveals who they really are as an actor, and whether they can do the same under the relentless heat and demands of set life.
That real-time adaptability is so crucial, and it brings up something else you mentioned, those often overlooked moments before the scene actually begins. How do you truly allow an actor to activate their performance from the very first breath? Ensure they step into the scene fully formed, already in the thick of it, rather than just warming up into it.
This is absolutely non-negotiable, directors. You must allow them the space. The space to sit fully in the moment before the scene begins. Do not rush them. This is sacred space. It's where the actor's inner engine is primed, where the emotional truth of what just happened to the character can fully settle within them before they utter a sound. Encourage them to close their eyes, take a deep, centering breath, and vividly visualize the precise moment just before the scene starts. Guide them to feel it. What just happened to this character? What emotional state are they walking into this room carrying right now, in this instant? Did they just discover a profound betrayal, suffer an unbearable loss, achieve a surprising victory against all odds, face a public humiliation that stripped them bare, or maybe feel a glimmer of hope for the very first time in months after a long darkness?
That emotional preload anchors the performance.
It anchors the entire performance in profound, undeniable truth. Then, watch them like a hawk. Are they utilizing previous circumstances, the character's past, their history, their deepest wounds and triumphs? Are they using that to activate something deeply personal within them? Mapping the character's backstory onto their own emotional history. You will see it, not in grand theatrics, not in obvious displays, but in the most exquisite nuance. Look for a subtle shift in posture, a barely perceptible flicker of the eyes as they process an inner thought, the way they inhale as if bracing for battle, gathering themselves from a momentous confrontation.
That breath, that stillness.
That breath, that stillness. Directors, that is not hesitation. That is ignition. That is the precise moment the internal engine of the character roars to life within the actor.
So what are the specific cues we should look for?
Okay. Look for these specific, observable cues. First, a subtle but palpable change in their energy or focus before they speak. Observe a shift in their breath, a subtle change in eye contact, or a grounded stillness that signals their full, unwavering immersion into the scene's world. Second, look for emotional truth behind their very first line, as if they are already mid-experience, speaking from a place that has been brewing inside them, shaping their present reality long before that first word is uttered. The line should feel like a release of something held, a desperate need or a powerful truth finally unleashed, not merely a beginning.
You should feel the weight of what came before.
Exactly. You should sense an urgency or a powerful emotional carryover from an imagined event. You will feel the weight of what just happened, even if it remains unspoken, a palpable pressure behind their delivery, as if they're carrying something vital, burdensome, or exhilarating that they urgently need to unload. And observe their physical choices. Do they reflect inner tension or vulnerability? Watch how they hold their body. Are their shoulders tight with suppressed emotion? Are their hands trembling subtly but undeniably with nerves or anticipation? Are their eyes wet but defiantly resolute? Or maybe brimming with a suppressed joy? These microsignals confirm they are working from a deeply personal, activated emotional place, not some generalized, intellectualized idea of acting.
So it's not pre-performance.
This, I tell you, is not pre-performance. It is the performance. It's already begun. If they enter the scene already activated, already blazing with purpose and emotion, the scene won't need to warm up. It will explode from the very first word. That is how you discern an actor who truly lives in the role, not one who merely visits it for a brief moment.
That idea of an explosion, not a warm-up, it perfectly captures that energy. Genuine activation. So as we get towards the end of the process, making that final decision, what does all this mean? When you're making that ultimate choice, how do you ensure you're truly finding the best actor for your story, not just the safest or most polished one?
Understand this, directors. Absolutely and unequivocally. The best actors, the true warriors, may stumble over lines. They might not deliver a perfectly polished reading, but they will leave you breathless. This is because what they are doing transcends mere perfection. It is about profound, unvarnished truth. You must choose the actor who reveals a raw, undeniable need, who takes their personal wounds, their deepest fears, their most cherished hopes, and with fearless abandon wields them as potent weapons to win their objective. These are the performers who walk into your room with something vital, something deeply personal to fight for, not something merely to prove or demonstrate for your approval.
They bring more than talent, you're saying.
They bring more than just talent, directors. They bring a piece of their very soul into that room. They lay it bare for the character's pursuit. You will witness it in how intensely they listen, how viscerally they react to every nuance, how their eyes burn with an incandescent urgency. They might miss a word, they might stumble on a line, but you will feel as though you have just witnessed a private, harrowing war unfolding right before your eyes.
So how do you recognize that actor specifically? What are the final signs?
Their choices feel profoundly lived in, never rehearsed. They respond with an immediacy that suggests the words are being discovered in real time, shaped by their internal landscape and the shifting dynamics, not just recited from memory. They remain emotionally connected even when the scene momentarily breaks or when there's silence. There's a lingering charge in their presence, a residual truth that doesn't just switch off with cut or when the scene ends.
And their vulnerability is active, not passive.
Exactly. Their vulnerability is not passive. It is active. They don't just feel it, they use it to pursue, to push forward, not to perform for sympathy. Emotion is never displayed for its own sake. It's employed like a weapon to break through resistance, to connect deeply, maybe even to subtly dominate. And their energy will electrify the room. It shifts the entire atmosphere. People will lean forward, they'll hold their breath, or shift uneasily in their chairs, caught in the magnetic pull of authentic human struggle. You won't just watch them, you will feel them in your body.
That's the actor who transforms the page.
This, directors, is the actor who transforms the page into something profoundly human, something with blood, breath, and real consequence. They don't just say the lines, they make you forget the lines ever existed. They inject the scene with true, undeniable life. Do not allow yourself to be distracted by polish or technical precision. Those are qualities that can be coached, they can be refined, taught. But the raw instinct to fight for something with every fiber of your soul, that, my friends, that is what you cast for. Follow the undeniable heat of that fight. Follow the actor who leaves emotional fingerprints all over the room, the one you simply cannot forget.
That's incredibly clarifying. So after absorbing all of this, when you're sitting there, maybe hours later, reviewing the auditions, making that final critical choice, what's the ultimate litmus test? What questions should echo in your mind to ensure you're casting the warrior, not just the polished performer?
When you are in that casting room, after the auditions are done and you're making your decision, ask yourself these questions with brutal, uncompromising honesty. First, who do I truly believe is fighting for something significant in this scene, with every fiber of their being, as if their life depended on it? Then ask, who do I feel with, not just watch? Whose performance went beyond just intellectual appreciation and actually evoked a visceral, empathetic response in me? Who compelled me to lean in, to feel their struggle as if it were my own? And finally, who makes me lean forward? Who changes the very temperature in the room just by their presence, by the sheer, undeniable force of their emotional truth?
Cast the one who lives it, not just acts it.
Cast the actor who doesn't just act the role, they live it. They don't merely visit the character for the duration of the scene. They occupy them with every breath, every choice, every single heartbeat. These actors won't just show you the scene. They will pull you relentlessly into its core. You will feel the stakes long before a single line is spoken. You'll sense the profound battle they're fighting beneath the dialogue, the unspoken motivations, the obstacles, the deep personal history. They are not performing for your approval. They are relentlessly pursuing something vital, something essential. And you, the audience, you're swept into the undeniable urgency of that need, compelled to witness their struggle.
It should feel almost private.
The actor you ultimately cast should make you feel like you were interrupting something intensely private. something sacred, something deeply personal unfolding right there. They don't have to be perfect. In fact, the best ones often aren't. Their raw authenticity, their vulnerability, their occasional stumbles. Paradoxically, that makes them more compelling, more human. But they are unequivocally real. They are unpredictable. They are hungry for the objective. They are full of contradictions, precisely like the complex character they are fighting to become.
So the takeaway focuses on those key indicators.
Your takeaway must focus on these critical indicators. Who is using emotion as a strategic tactic, not merely a display? Who is pursuing an objective, not simply presenting a result? And who is risking something profoundly personal every time they speak, every time they take a breath in that scene? Because truth, directors, truth outlives polish. And the fight always, always outlives technique.
Powerful summation.
So, in summary, directors. An audition isn't about performance, it's about survival. It's about revealing a warrior, not just a performer. The best actors don't visit the role, they live it. They're the ones who inject the scene with blood, breath, and profound consequence. Cast the actor who has that inherent ability to turn personal pain into formidable power. Cast the one who bleeds, who strategizes, who adapts relentlessly to every obstacle, and who simply refuses to leave the room without winning something. Cast the one who must be seen. Their undeniable truth will be your greatest asset. It will imbue your story with authentic, unforgettable life.